This trip, I know obviously you got the preseason game tomorrow, but then you guys are spending some time up in the New England area for a couple days. You know, if you can give us any insight into what you plan on or what you're hoping to get out of it.
Well, it's a little bit of a team building excursion. Chris Drury and I talked about it in the off season. We had discussions with our leadership group about it in the off season, gauging their interest if they thought that was something that might be beneficial to the group. And so, you know, the feedback that we got from the players was that this was something that they would embrace, and so we put our heads together to come up with a game plan to try to make that happen. So we've got a window of opportunity for, you know, a couple of days where we've got a chance to spend some time together, get to know one another a little bit better, and hopefully come together as a team.
You talked yesterday, I believe, about, or maybe the day before, about specifically about Morrow, and you know, young guy being better off perhaps playing more regularized time down there as opposed to, you know, in and out maybe up here. And you know, I see Morrow and Perot are not here. Is that kind of what the thinking was with those two guys? Like,
Yeah, they're two young players that, you know, that we're extremely excited about. You know, these guys are, in our estimation, are NHL players in the making, and you know, our job is to try to, you know, create a pathway to try to help them grow and develop and to become, you know, what we hope will be the impact players that we think they're capable of being. So, you know, we're really excited about both of those guys. We think they had terrific training camps. Certainly made an impression on everybody, and we believe that you know, these guys have the potential to have a lasting impact on the New York Rangers. So, you know, we're trying to make the best decisions we can to try to help that process and get these guys as close to, you know, pushing their way onto the roster as they can.
Like, you know, I'm a few days early with this, but Tuesday night, I'm wondering for you, what's that going to be like? Is it going to be emotional? Is it going to be weird? Is it going to be, I mean, what's that going to feel like for you when you're on the bench and you're starting a journey and you're against a team with a bunch of players that you've walked it with?
Yeah, it's a good question, Dan. I haven't really thought about what it's going to be like. You know, I'm sure there'll be a lot of mixed emotions. Obviously, you know, the relationships that I built with those guys were strong, and you know, we had the privilege of, you know, winning a couple of championships together with some of those guys. And I think when you go through experiences like that, it certainly galvanizes relationships that last a lifetime. And so I'm sure there'll be mixed emotions. I haven't really given it a whole lot of thought. I've been so immersed in what's going on here with the Rangers every day. What I will tell you is my focus will be on the Rangers and doing our very best to set this group up for success. But you know, I'm sure there'll be emotions.
Along those lines, how, to this point, how the plan that you had, the thoughts you had going into camp, how they met reality? Like, what have you thought of where you guys are at right now? Is it where you wanted to be at this point? Like,
Yeah, so, you know, like, I really didn't, I didn't really plan out a results type of camp as far as, you know, checking boxes of where we wanted to be. You know, what my intention going into training camp was to put together a game plan to evaluate the group and what we have, to get a more intimate understanding of every, you know, all the players that are here and potentially could make the roster, and then implement a game plan that we will continue to define and refine as we go through the course of the season. And that was really the objective that we set out to accomplish. And then the other aspect of it is like I say to the players all the time, every day when we come in rink, our objective is to become a better version of ourselves. So we just want to move the needle every day. And if we can get better every day and feel good about what we accomplish on a given day, then the next day when we come in the rink, we should be a better version of ourselves. And I believe that we continue to do that. There's been a lot of enthusiasm around the group that is tangible. And for me, that's exciting. It's rewarding also that they're embracing, you know, what's going on. We're excited about, you know, coaching this group of players. We think, you know, we have good people and we have a lot of talent. And as I said to the players, nothing's inevitable. We got to go out and earn it, and that's going to be the challenge. But that's also the fun part, is when we do begin that journey, when we're playing for keeps. You know, that's going to be the process that we go through together, and I'm excited about working with these guys. You know, it's been a lot of fun to this point, and I know it will continue to be. And but I've been really encouraged and excited about just the level of enthusiasm around the group every day. And I think if we continue to have that, we can't help but get better every day. And I think we'll see where that takes us. I think we've got the opportunity to be a real good team. Right now, that's all it is. It's an opportunity. Now we've got to go out and earn it.
If I wanted to ask you a little bit about Will Cuylle, this guy going into his third year, you know, had a good rookie year, built on, had a better second year. By all indications, it looks like he's going to be playing very high up in your lineup. You know, what have you seen from him in this training camp, and what would your expectations be of a guy like that?
I think what I see of him is the player that he's been for the last couple of years for the Rangers. You know, he's a real good north-south, up and down power forward. Brings a physical edge to his game. Is really good on the forecheck. Has decent puck skills and goes to the net. You know, I think his game is straightforward and simple, but very effective at the same time. He's not easy to play against. And I think that's the player that he's going to continue to be. I think we're going to try to push him to, you know, to become a better version of himself. And if he does that, we can, you know, we can help him hopefully become a more well-rounded player, sharpen up his game on both sides of the puck, and continue to bring what he's brought to the Rangers in his first couple of seasons. And I think when you look at how today's game is being played, it's very much a north-south game. You know, speed is an essential component of it, of winning hockey anyway. And he has the capability of playing that game with his size, his skating ability, his strength, his willingness to get inside and play in the interior of the rink, go to the blue paint. You know, he's a handful for, I think, our opponents, and that's what I would expect he would bring to this group throughout the course of this year.
Quickly on JT, obviously back with the red jersey on, and Aaron, is it a new injury with Artemi?
No.
Okay. What's still several days? Is there a concern at all for Artemi, maybe probably more than JT about opening night, or is this still a day by day thing?
Yeah, I think it's just a day-by-day thing at this point, Dan. You know, our hope is that we'll have them for opening night, and we're trying to err on the side of caution with these guys, as we've said all along. You know, Artemi skated this morning before the team skated, and so it's not that he's not on the ice. He is, and then we'll, you know, continue to rehab him and go through a return-to-play process that he's been going through. We're hopeful that you know, that he'll be ready. He's certainly making strides.
How long do you think for JT just he'll need to have that red jersey on? Do you think he's close to shedding that? Do you think it's a couple days still? Just how close do you think he is to?
The fact that he joined the team today, I think, is a real encouraging sign. It's hard for me to put a time frame on, you know, when the red jersey is going to come off, but I don't anticipate it being long.
As you sort of formulate your final roster spots here, there's a couple young guys competing for that final spot, veterans who are in it as well. Just how do you maybe think you learn to approach those final days of camp, those final battles for roster spots from a player's perspective. How does maybe someone learn to navigate that throughout their career?
From a player's perspective?
Or how do you hope they handle it from a coach's perspective?
Well, I think from a player's perspective, and that, you know, that's something that, you know, we talk with our guys a lot about is to control the controllables. You know, and that essentially boils down to your effort, your attitude, your execution. You know, every time you step on the ice, you know, you can't always control decisions that coaches and management make, but you can certainly influence them with how you know, how you come to the rink every day. And so I would expect that they would be good pros and do everything they can to set themselves up for success. You know, and trust that approach is going to give them the best chance to meet their own individual goals.
Okay.
13 or 14, you know yet?
We haven't made that final decision yet.